Hey guys, so today's gonna be a little bit of a rant. Earlier today my phone gives me like the Google News update things with just kind of what's going on. And I found one. Hold on, let me bring up this article. I have multiple tabs open with this on it. Including a video I will share with you guys. So the article I found, it says pretty laid back alligator serves as emotional support animal as owner shops, comma, gives presentations. So I just first off, emotional support alligator. Now I've owned snakes. I've had 3 ball pythons, and I love my ball pythons. But this guy takes them or takes his alligator with him places. Now, the gives presentations part is fine. Let's see, where is it? He takes them to, like, assisted living homes, and where was in some other place. Goes different places and does, like, educational, seminars, basically, with the gator, and kind of promotes like, let's see. Here we go. So he takes Wally to schools and senior centers, putting on programs about gators and educating people about them and the pressure on their habitats from development and other human activity. It was during some of these programs that he noticed something. Children with autism or Tourette's or other developmental issues would be mesmerized by Wally. The gator's presence calmed them. Now, I am all for taking reptiles to places for educational purposes. I 100% support it. What bothers me is there's a video, and during the video there are clips that shows Wally interacting with elders, and there is no tape on his nose, or on his mouth. And every educational performance I have seen with gators, they always have their mouth taped shut for safety, because they're alligators, they can bite, they are wild animals. This guy does not put tape on Wally's mouth, and he also has a harness, which is fine. Like, I've seen gators on harnesses and they've walked before. That's fine. But for safety purposes, he does not have this gator's mouth taped shut. So, we're fine here. Hey, he's doing educational seminars with Wally. Cool. He also rescued Wally. He got him at, looks like they estimated him to be 14 months old when they got him in September 2015, because they were like on a plot of land that was about to be developed. And then they said the gators were going to be relocated to a habitat uninfested by condos, but the plan changed and then included the eradication of the gators. Now, the video also states supposedly that Wally came from the incident in at Disney World or Disneyland. This guy says Disneyland. I thought it was Disney World, where the gator like attacked the child, and said that he was among the gators that was captured, like, I guess in Disney's parks or whatever, to try and cut down on the amount of gators in the area. So it's kind of mixed here because I see, hey, he was gonna be killed with a bunch of other gators in this area by condos, and then it's also thrown about Disney. So I'm not sure which one's correct. So he gets Wally, and he says that Wally was afraid of everything, as if he was like, kind of like if you get a new dog or cat, and he snapped at everything. And in the video, they say that he taped his mouth shut. And I'm gonna actually go ahead and show that video for you guys. It's about 2 minutes long, and I will show you that video.
Alligators don't make real good pets. They get big. They need a lot of care, more care than a dog. They take a lot of water. As you see, we have a 300-gallon pond in the living room. It gets changed about every third day. It has to be changed. We also have a filter in it. And if you don't, it can stink pretty bad. He came up from Florida, and he has a big alligator rescue. They do alligators. I think they have a few hogs and stuff, but they do about 6 or 7 other animals that are not native to the United States, and they try to help get them off and regulate them and stuff that he has amongst reserves. But he brought me Wally up, and that had been 4 years ago this coming September. Wally was hatchling from Disneyland. They thinned some of them out down there after the incident happened down there, and that's where Wally came from. I just love him. He's great. When we first got him, of course, we had to have a rubber band around his nose because he was afraid of everything. He was snappy and stuff that it got to the point where every time he was looked like he was afraid of something, we just pick him up, we cuddle him, and just let him have the freedom instead of caging him down. We've taken him to York Fair. We've taken him to Walmart. Taken him to Lowe's a lot, and you think you walk in with an alligator, people will start being afraid. That is not the reaction we get. Once they get around Wally and they see just how gentle he really is, a gentle giant is what he is.
Okay, so now that you've seen the video, he doesn't. There's also this article that I have. It was done on a Pennsylvania news site. It's by the Associated Press, and it is on pinlive.com. And we've got a few other articles on it that aren't as in-depth. They're really, like, short, talking about Wally. But this one on Pin Live is really long. There's also like there's a photo on one of these with Wally sitting in the guy's lap and this girl's lap and snuggling, and it makes me cringe because again the gator's face isn't taped, and you know the guy claims that the gator is very docile. Now on to the article that I read that's really long. I'll link it in the description below for anyone that wishes to read it in its full entirety. I don't want to go through the entire thing. So this gator is 4.5 feet long and is 3 years old. And he obviously started, like I said, doing things with the gator as educational. He also has another gator named Swampy, I think is what they said his name is. Let me see here. Scrappy. Scrappy's a 2-year-old and lives in a 300-gallon pond that he has built in his living room, like they said in the video. Both gators hang out in it. Wally likes to watch TV. There's a lot of things that try to kind of anthropomorphize Wally in this article. And he says that Wally's very mellow. So here we go. after I said the thing about the gator's presence being calming regarding developmental abilities. He said, it made him think he believed that Wally, a pretty male reptile, had calming, even healing powers, the same as a golden retriever that serves as a companion to someone in need of emotional support. He looked into getting Wally classified as a service animal, but the rules for service animals, mostly dogs, were pretty strict and required arduous training to be certified as such. First off, this is in the US. I am in the US. Only two animals are allowed to be service animals: dogs and mini horses. Can't have a gator as a service dog. Also, the way he's talking was like he obviously wants to take this animal to help people. That would be a therapy animal. Therapy animals serve multiple people, service dogs serve one. You have to be disabled to have a service dog. And they do tasks that mitigate their disability. Therapy animals comfort people. Now, that's what he said he wanted to do. He said then he found the classification of emotional support animal. Any animal could be emotional support critter, donkeys, skunks, ferrets, anything. Why not a gator? He wondered. So, it says pretty much all you have to do to get an animal classified as an emotional support animal is go online and register. No special training is required. Emotional support animals, unlike service animals, are not granted any special privileges under federal law, according to the Americans with Disabilities Act. Now I'm glad with this article because it says under the law only dogs and miniature horses can be registered as service animals. Thank you to this article. But there is, first off, you do not go get your emotional support animal registered. Service dogs are not registered. There is no registry for service dogs. All registries online are scams, both from ESAs and for service dogs. For ESAs, you have to get a note from your therapist stating that you need this animal. And the only thing that a ESA gets is housing. They're allowed non-pet housing under the Fair Housing Act, and they can fly on planes with a note. But most airlines are restricting on what they're allowed. So yes, technically you could get a snake or whatever as an ESA. That doesn't necessarily mean that all places will be too happy about that animal being there. So he then makes this gator an ESA, which is separate from what that's separate from what he's doing with this animal for educational purposes. You can take an animal to places as a animal educator, and that's fine. You don't need them to be an ESA or a therapy animal to do that. What bugs me is this next part. He says he did that, and Wally became an emotional support gator. As such, he's pretty much permitted to go wherever Joey goes. No, he can't. That animal is not allowed to go wherever this guy goes. Plus, it's a gator. He says he has taken Wally to Revolution Games, to Cabela's, and Bass Pro Shop, which I've been in Bass Pro. Bass Pro, they told me they allow anything. They've had people bring in snakes, parrots, rats. There's been any animal under the sun allowed in Bass Pro, but I'm kind of surprised they would let a gator in. He says to Lowe's and Home Depot. He takes him for walks around the park. And then he says Wally travels with him just about everywhere. He's had trouble taking him to restaurants. Restaurants owners balked at having a gator in the dining room and feared that the beast carried salmonella. Joey assured them that the gators don't carry salmonella, but to no avail. Wally is persona non grata in a lot of restaurants. The salmonella scare, Joey believes, is a smokescreen. He thinks restaurant owners just don't want a gator scaring the bejesus out of other diners. ESAs do not have public access rights. Plus, it's an alligator. ESAs are not allowed in restaurants. They don't have public access rights. And it's an alligator. It's definitely not allowed in restaurants. I don't care what it is. That gator can't go in a restaurant. An ESA can't go in a restaurant. It's against the law. The fact that this guy tries to take a gator into a restaurant astounds me. Like, it started out nice when I was like, oh, hey, he's doing educational stuff with this gator. Awesome. Then he's like, oh, I'm gonna get it registered for emotional support. Maybe he misunderstood and wanted it was meant for, like, therapy animals. But now he's taking advantage of the system and trying to take this animal, or is taking this animal into stores. He's tried to take it into restaurants and other things. And most of this footage, this gator's mouth is never taped. What happens if this gator gets agitated, decides to bite somebody? You know, this is a 4.5 foot gator. Yes, that's not that big in terms of things when gators can get, 15 feet. But this gator could seriously hurt somebody. Um, Earlier, when he talks about first getting, let's see, where was it? Legends outside my door whining. Let me finish this up and then I'll let him in. He talked about domesticating Wally. Here it is. He says, after a while, Wally became as domesticated as he would ever become. He is still a wild animal. He stated that, but 2 paragraphs up, it said that he picked Wally up when he could and comforted him when he was scared. It took some time, but after a few months, Wally had begun to become domesticated. He was like a little puppy dog. He would follow us around the house. You cannot domesticate a wild animal. Domestication comes over generations of breeding. It's when the wolf becomes the dog. We domesticated the wolf. Cats came from wild cats. We domesticated them. The horse was wild. We've domesticated them. When you take a wild animal and put it into a captive setting and it becomes a docile, that's not domestication. This just, I'm sorry, this just irritates me so much, this entire thing. Uh, this guy, what's he gonna do when this gator gets bigger? This is a safety issue, and I'm really glad that these restaurants are denying this gator. The fact that these stores are not is appalling. Um, and letting an alligator walk around. I understand that this guy was trying to do a good thing originally and rescuing the gator and doing educational seminars and such, but now it's gotten out of hand in the way he is handling what he's doing with this gator is wrong. It's not fair to the gator. It's definitely unsafe. What happens if you're in Walmart with the gator and a little child decides to run up to it and try to pet it and the gator bites off his hand? What if that gator latches on and suddenly death rolls and just tears that kid's hands off? Like, or what if even if this gator is just at an educational seminar and they're petting its head, its mouth isn't taped shut. What if something happens? What if something triggers this gator and he just this ESA, all of these different animals as ESAs is getting out of hand, honestly. I'm probably going to do a separate video explaining ESAs, therapy dogs, and service animals, and just as a separate thing, just because there needs to be some more about this, and It's 2019 and we're taking gators into public places. There's a lot of misunderstanding and whatever. So, I'm gonna probably just relax and go get some dinner now because I have been fuming about this since I woke up and saw this, and I just hadn't had time to sit down and make a video. And now I have, and I just. So I guess, guys, like and subscribe and comment below on what you think about this guy having a emotional support alligator that he takes everywhere with him. Um, like I said, I'm going to link the article below. There's also the video. Let me check. Yeah, you can click on to also watch the video as well. Um, if you would like to go watch it again or whatever. So far, this is the only information really I've found on him, but sorry, my dog's knocking now. So anyway, yeah, emotional support alligators, guys. It's getting crazy. All right, y'all have a good night. See ya.